The look he's treated like a hero. He's treated like Robin Hood. That should scare you to the marrow of your bones.
So Steve Bannon's message to the elites at the World Economy Summit is, hey, you better do something about this government and corporate corruption, or you might have more Luigis running around.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. Steve Bannon, President Trump's #1 sycophant, has a warning for America's elite and the oligarchs. Luigi Mangione, the alleged shooter of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, and the nationwide support for Mangione should, quote, scare you to the marrow of your bone. More on that in a minute. I will tell you, Mangione has his latest court appearance in his criminal case tomorrow in New York City, this time in the federal case against him. So Status Coup will be on the ground outside the courthouse tomorrow. So definitely check us out live on the ground tomorrow for that coverage. He is set to appear in federal court in New York City around 1 o'clock Eastern time. We will be on the ground covering that. All right. I want to show you this because I think it's really relevant, even though I will also show you that Steve Bannon is completely full of shit. But let's show you what he said as a warning to America's elite, invoking Luigi Mangione.
We are narrowing our choices and our alternatives. I don't care if it's Bernie Sanders and AOC or Donald Trump. As a country, we have to come to a solution to this. And what the Harvard and the colleges and the law firms show you, it's all federal money. The reason Paul Weiss cratered was because of the federal money. You're going to lose your security clearance. You're not going to be able to work federal jobs. By the way, there's one line in there. No client of yours is going to be eligible for federal funds. The same thing with Harvard. Harvard's all about federal money. Everybody's got their snout in the trough. And who pays for it? The little guy. That's why it's so frustrating. And here's the thing. The alternative the populist nationalists offer is an alternative that you can see the sunlit uplands. Tons of change has to happen. But the other alternative, I'm telling you, is this Luigi. The look he's treated like a hero. He's treated like Robin Hood. That should scare you to the marrow of your bones, because that's the alternative. If the system keeps going like it is, that alternative is your alternative. We offer, the populist nationalists offer something you're not going to love, but you'll be able to live with.
So Steve Bannon's message to the elites at the World Economy Summit is, hey, you better do something about this government and corporate corruption. You better do something about seemingly the wealth gap, the gross income inequality, or you might have more Luigis running around. I don't necessarily disagree with the message, but the messenger is pretty full of shit. I mean, this man is sitting here and he has made a whole lot of money, probably a millionaire at this point, off of pretending that he's some, warrior economic populist while he's defending the personification of the corporate oligarchy establishment. Sorry, MAGA, if you're watching, Donald Trump hoodwinked you. He is no populist. He is no friend of the working class. Steve Bannon knows this, but Steve Bannon has rode the Trump grift to Moneytown. I mean, Steve Bannon is talking about the little guy. The little guy? Well, let's show you a clip of Trump yesterday when asked by a reporter if he supports a special tax on millionaires. Let's show you how much Donald Trump, Steve Bannon's #1 guy, cares about the little guy.
And then secondly, would you support a millionaire tax?
I think it would be very disruptive, because a lot of the millionaires would leave the country. In the old days, they left states. They go from one state to the other. Now with transportation so quick and so easy, they leave countries. You'll lose a lot of money if you do that. And other countries that have done it have lost a lot of people. They lose their wealthy people. That would be bad, because the wealthy people pay the tax. Okay?
Wow. Sounds like a populist warrior and a man just fervently fighting for Steve Bannon's little guy. By the way, when Trump mentions, you'll lose a lot of money, Colin, let's put up the chart. You mean like the little guy and gal has lost trillions of dollars over the last 50 years? You see that red line? See that line skyrocketing to the top? Our money, the grand bank robbery of the last half century by the oligarchs that Trump defends and is one of, stealing our money through government-sponsored corruption, through the United Corporations of America, through trade deals, offshoring all our jobs to other countries. Let's talk about the little guy. Steve Bannon is completely full of shit. Donald Trump is completely full of shit. And I'm going to show you more of the corruption that Steve Bannon elevates in a minute. I want to show you another thing that Steve Bannon talked about and invoked Luigi Mangione. This is from about a week after Mangione allegedly killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. I want to show you this because, again, he invokes Mangione kind of like as a warning to the elites. The problem is Steve Bannon is one of the elites, and he's just pretending to be against elites.
Well, you seem to have a project. What would you say your project is, if you could sort of sum it up?
It's populist nationalism. It's to make sure that the little guys in this country who are the full faith and credit of the country depends upon the working class and middle class, not just for taxes and for the pension funds that drive the capital markets, but also for their sons and daughters who serve in the military. And they're the backbone of society, but they always get the short end of the stick. The film ends, I think, quite powerfully. This film was made in 2018, where I say there's a burning building, and I say, hey, unless there's some fundamental basic changes in the structure of this country, particularly the economic side, you're going to have a French Revolution. It's going to turn bad. You've got to make basic changes. And look what happened in Midtown, 10 days ago, where a guy got gunned down in the back because of, people's anger right below the surface on things like health insurance and healthcare, kind of their lived experience. So I keep telling people, particularly donors and these rich folks, that unless we make some basic fundamental changes, you're going to have what happened in France in 17. So you can have another version of the American Revolution.
So again, he invokes what Mangione allegedly did as a warning to the donors and the elite. He mentions, interestingly enough, and I quote, people's anger right below the surface on things like health insurance and healthcare, kind of like their lived experience. Gee, I don't recall Steve Bannon, praising Bernie or any of the other co-sponsors of Medicare for All. Don't recall Steve Bannon out there with National Nurses United calling for universal health care. So when he's talking about, people's, anger and desperation lying underneath the surface for things like health insurance, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, has Steve Bannon called for universal health care, a public option, taking predatory for-profit health care and getting rid of that system, delinking health insurance to employment? He talks the talk of economic populism. And why is this important? Because I don't do a lot of videos on Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon has one of the highest listened to podcasts in America. He's right up there with Joe Rogan and others. He has a huge megaphone. That's why I'm covering him. So a lot of people buy this bullshit that this man and Trump actually give a shit about the little guy. Not at all. Trump doesn't care about the little guy. He has stomped on the little guy his entire life. Trump got bailed out by his father to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. Trump was going to go belly up at his casino in Atlantic City in New Jersey. His father bailed him out, I believe, at $20 million. Does the little guy get that help? Did Steve Bannon get that help? No. But I want to talk about here, and we're going to get to more details of the actual corruption that Steve Bannon actually supports while he, cosplays? I forget. Being a champion of the little guy here. But Luigi Mangione, whatever your feeling is on what he allegedly did, because I have said from the beginning, I'm not telling anyone, go get your guns, gun down CEOs. I don't believe violence is the answer, even though it's alleged what he did. It has to be proven in court. But to me, it's always been about much bigger than what he allegedly did. It's about Look at the outrage. Look at the anger. Look at the desperation that was unleashed by what he allegedly did. Look at the, I mean, you can't even quantify it. The amount of people murdered by the predatory for-profit health insurance industry. It is in a galaxy far, far beyond Brian Thompson and one CEO. People are being murdered every day by the for-profit health insurance industry. So whether you agree or don't agree with what Mangione allegedly did, what he tapped into and why I believe he has so much support is what he allegedly did. It wasn't just against one man. And the reported, his reported writings on the internet, his reporting, what's been reported about his feeling that people have had their agency taken away from them, the dangers of technology. Really, what he allegedly did really is about a fight against predatory and inhumane capitalism. That's what I believe this story is about. It's about predatory for-profit murderous health insurance, but also predatory for-profit murderous capitalism, which Steve Bannon supports. Don't be fooled that Steve Bannon is some friend of the working class. You can't be a friend of the working class and support Donald Trump. The two things cancel each other out. Let me show you more about, how much Steve Bannon cares about the little guy based on the president that he supports. Trump's corruption has basically been normalized, so this kind of got little attention. This came out recently. Just then, Trump Media, his media company, signed an agreement with Bitcoin and crypto exchange Crypto.com to launch ETFs. In English, the president of the United States, who never really divested himself from his for-profit businesses, which is a scandal in itself. He's breaking all sorts of laws and the emoluments clause of the Constitution, but I digress. Trump, who his government is supposed to be regulating currency, regulating exchanges, regulating the financial industry, like cryptocurrency, his media arm is signing agreement with one of the biggest crypto exchanges, Bitcoin, to launch ETFs. So Trump's media company is going to make money off of Bitcoin at the same time that the president and his administration is supposed to be regulating Bitcoin. Can you imagine if Obama did that? And I'm not a fan of Obama. Or Biden did that, and I'm not a fan of Biden. Oh my God, Fox News would be calling for the impeachment hearings immediately. And rightfully so, because it's blatant corruption. Steve Bannon cares about the little guy, right? He invokes Luigi Mangione as a warning to the elites. Got to look out for the little guy, right? Man of the people, Donald Trump, just secretly met with the CEOs of Walmart, Target, Home Depot, so that they could beg him to do an about face on the tariffs, which he did the next day. This from Axios. The president is resolute in his goal of reshaping the economy, but he's sensitive to the movement of the markets and the pleas of powerful corporate leaders and investors who fear the worst from his sweeping efforts. Monday was a tough day for Trump's goal of reshaping the global economy. The CEOs of three of the nation's biggest retailers, Walmart, Target, and Home Depot, privately warned him that his tariff and trade policy could disrupt supply chains, raise prices, and empty shelves, according to a source familiar with the meeting. The big box CEOs flat out told Trump the prices aren't going up. They're steady right now, but they will go up. And this wasn't about food, but he was told that shelves will be empty. An administration official told Axios. Another official briefed on the meeting said the CEOs told Trump disruptions could become noticeable in 2 weeks. Then on Tuesday, Trump turned down the dial. His Treasury Secretary and then his press secretary and then Trump himself indicated that trade talks with China were imminent, starting on good foot, and would result in a deal with much lower tariffs. So, man of the little guy, man of the people, Donald Trump. Well, you and I don't have direct access to him to express our concerns on tariffs and other things, but the CEOs of Walmart, Target, and Home Depot have open door privileges. Now, you could say, Jordan, isn't it a good thing that, the president is listening to corporate America, particularly on tariffs? Yes, I don't agree with his disastrous tariff policy. I agree with target tariffs in some cases that are more specific towards specific industries or corporations. What Trump did was just complete diarrhea, economic diarrhea. But it just shows you this man of the people, Donald Trump, man of the little guy. Yeah, just, meeting with a who's who of corporate criminals as they got him to quickly surrender his tariff war, which was a joke from the start. I mean, it would take me 2 hours to truly go down all the corruption that Steve Bannon truly embodies, that Trump embodies, and according to everything we know about Luigi Mangione, his alleged actions was fighting against. Trump, one of his first acts, loosens enforcements of U.S. laws banning bribery of foreign officials. President Trump on Monday signed an executive order directing the Justice Department to pause prosecutions of Americans accused of bribing foreign government officials while trying to win or retain business in their countries. Trump's order pauses enforcement of the nearly half-century-old Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Essentially, come on down, bribe us from anywhere in the world. That's Steve Bannon's champion of the little guy, right? I mean, what a joke. MAGA, wake up. Trump uses mass firing to remove 17 independent inspector generals at a series of agencies. The Trump administration has fired about 17 independent inspector generals at government agencies, sweeping action to remove oversight of his new administration. A crypto mogul who invested millions into Trump coins is getting a reprieve on civil fraud charges. Again, this is just a few. I could go on. I mean, I could do a full live stream 10-hour telethon on just the corrupt actions of Trump in the first 100 days. Let me know if you want us to do that in the comments. So to me, I don't care if you're a lefty. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're libertarian. I don't care if you're politically agnostic. You have to have a good bullshit detector. I am telling you, MAGA, I say this sincerely, not to condescend you, not to say I told you so. Look at who you're following. Look at the words coming out from Steve Bannon. He's calling Trump a champion of the little guy when the main accomplishment of his first term was giving a massive tax cut to the big corporate vampires. The little guy got crumbs in the 2017 tax cut. The big guys got caviar, champagne, and cake. He's going to do it again in his proposed next tax cut. Trump is literally, his White House is an open door, revolving door for looting the Treasury, for enriching oligarchs. So Bannon is full of shit. His warning, though, on, hey, if something doesn't change in this country, you might have more Luigis. I'm not endorsing violence, but he's not wrong. It's just that the message is correct. The messenger is full of shit.